So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar on Friend of the Earth certification, an update organized by the World Sustainability Organization. I am Paolo Bray, and I'm founder and director of the organization and the foundation, and Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth. Today's webinar is an update about the Friend of the Earth certifications. I will also provide background information about sustainable agriculture certifications in general. And next webinars will be on the 11th of April. It's going to be a Friend of the Sea webinar on illegal fishing. And on the 16th of April, there's going to be a Friend of the Earth webinar on sustainable fashion. So please join. All our webinars are free of charge, and we provide a certificate at the end of the webinar for those who participate to the whole webinar. So just a few information, just a short info about who we are, where we come from, and our story dates back to the early 90s with my involvement on the Dolphin Safe Tuna project of the Earth Island Institute, which managed to save millions of dolphins from death in the tuna fishing activity in the Eastern Tropical Pacific. And it was the precursor of the sustainable seafood movement. And it made me realize that certifications could be a very important tool to achieve tangible conservation results. And that's why in 2008, I launched Friend of the Sea, which initially focused on certification of products on sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, and then expanded to award with the Friend of the Sea logo other products and services which respect the marine habitat. 10 years later, we launched the Friend of the Earth, which initially focused on certification of sustainable agriculture and farming. And in 2022, we opened our foundation, the World Sustainability Foundation, which supports projects in over 40 countries. And a year after, we opened our first sustainable Friends concept store right in the center of Milan, in the highest footfall street in Italy. So currently, over 1,500 companies with approximately 5,000 products have Friend of the Sea or Friend of the Earth certified products. They come from 90 countries, as you can see, spread all through the continents. And Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth are also conservation projects which are supported by our foundation in over 40 countries. These projects are mainly focused on protection of endangered species and habitat, whether aquatic or land species. So the question is why do we need certifications? The need for certification of products and services is a consequence of the growth in trade and branding of products, which had a strong boost just after World War II, with growth of the global economy and trade. Since the late 80s, however, environmental, food safety, and social accountability issues made accessible to consumers worldwide by means of the mass media and then internet further increased the need for verification and labeling of food according to their safety and environmental and social impact. The food certification market is quantified in 4.7 US billions and expected to have an annual growth rate of over 5% by 2025. This value includes other certification-related services such as consultancy and testing. Of course, this growth is not occurring in the same way globally, and some continents, such as North America and Europe, are in a more mature stage, while Middle East, Africa, Latin America are still in the growth phase. The rush for more information about products and new standards has been such that it's now almost impossible to estimate the number of eco-labels out there, as it is growing every day. But a good estimate would be around 1,000. And as you can see, they develop in all the different sectors, from electronics to food, from energy to forest, retail, and so on. Approximately 50% of them are food eco-labels. Of course, we are all concerned about what we eat. It's one of the major concerns, rightly, and we want to know where they come from and how they are produced. Some of the most comprehensive databases are the Ecolabel Index with 456 ecolabels and the ITC Standards Map with the 325 eco-labels, at least from the last time we checked that. So of the approximately 500 food eco-labels out there, I'm here representing 150, which hopefully include the major ones, also in terms of number of companies using them and number of products displaying them. I have separated them into groups which describe best their scope. So starting from the left, top, organic, and then national EU, which are mostly dedicated to organic certification, with the exception of EMAS, EMAS. Sustainable or responsible certifications of the agricultural production applicable to multiple products is the third big group below the national EU, which includes also Friend of the Earth, which I will go more in depth later. And then you have product or food specific certifications, which focus only on certification of specific products or crops, such as sugarcane, palm oil, coffee, cocoa, soya, wine, and more. Follows a group of labels aiming to protect single animal species groups, which might be at risk because of fishing or agricultural methods. And that includes the Dolphin Safe label, which I was talking about before. Then there's a group of which is dedicated to those standards which highlight, a group which is focused on fisheries and aquaculture. And then there's a group, there are groups dedicated farther to the right to those standards which highlight engagement in corporate social responsibility of the company as a whole, like B Corp and so on. We then have a group of standards related, a special one is the group of labels certifying restaurants. We then have a group of standards related to social accountability, one for animal welfare and others for identifying grass-fed, biodynamics, regenerative, non-GMO, packaging, vegan, and other health-related issues. Of course, we also have a set of eco-labels aiming at highlighting good practices in managing some specific environmental impact factors, such as water, CO2, and climate-related emissions. Last but not least, we have a group, the latest here on the right, the farther on the right, related to companies' labels, standards and eco-labels developed and managed by the companies themselves, thus not applicable to other companies. It's like a self-declaration, basically. While it would seem an overwhelming job to evaluate all these labels for their relevance in the mission for more sustainable food production, it is also clear that some of these eco-labels or groups cannot, while valuable for their specific purpose, and even though referring to food production, be considered sustainability certification labels. So if we wish to focus on those independent and more comprehensive sustainability eco-labels, more related to agriculture and its impact, we can exclude from these eco-labels the company's self-claims, the food safety certifications, the generic CSR or management system certifications, those specific only to water, energy, emissions, social accountability, GMO, animal welfare, agriculture, and fisheries. The list is therefore shorter. So let's look now more in depth on what we are left with to understand the main features of the major certifications group for sustainable agriculture. Biodynamic agriculture is a form of alternative agriculture based on pseudo-scientific and esoteric concepts initially developed in 1924 by Rudolf Steiner. It was the first of the organic farming movements. It treats soil fertility, plant growth, and livestock care as ecologically interrelated, thus emphasizing spiritual and mystical perspective. As of 2020, biodynamic techniques were used on 251,000 hectares in 55 countries, led by Germany, Australia, and France. And Germany accounts for 42% of the global total. The Demeter biodynamic standard includes also social accountability requirements. The standard also has strong biodiversity requirements, stronger than organic certification. the company's compliance to the standard is verified by independent certification bodies. In general, while one can put in doubt some of the requirements, the standard could be considered a sustainability certification for the above reasons. Then we have regenerative agriculture, which basically adds requirements to organic agriculture principles. Organic certification evidence is normally requested by regenerative agriculture certification to support soil rehabilitation, gradual increase in biodiversity, improvement of the water cycle, enhancement of ecosystem services, further improvement of animal welfare. Standards include also strong requirements on social and economic accountability. So two major certifications in the USA can be found: Regenerative Organic Certified, ROC, and AGW. Audits are carried out on site, organized by the certification owners. While some of the principles and claims of the regenerative agriculture, such as the one on its valid carbon sequestration, have been put in doubt by some scientific assessment, this eco-label can represent and it seems to incorporate the needed features of a sustainability certification. So let's now evaluate whether or not organic standards can be defined as sustainability certification. Well, the organic certification arena is quite a diversified one, as each country or group of countries, as in the case for the EU, regulates at different levels what the organic requirements should look like, providing, for example, regulations or guidelines. Other privately started organizations like IFOAM have developed their own requirements. A study some years ago calculated over 500 organic labels. So harmonization will surely help in this field at the global level. The organic certification market is huge when compared to other sustainability-related certification, as you can see from the graph. This is mainly due to the much bigger range of crops certified or certifiable. The organic harvested area was almost 4 times the total area certified by all other organic certifications, and 20 times more than the major ones, such as Rainforest Alliance. While the EU, USA, and Japan regulation do not include social accountability requirements, the Australian, the Swiss, IFOAM standards do include, to a certain extent, also social accountability issues. As far as the certification activity, it is carried out on all cases by an independent certification body. So one can consider organic as very similar or almost equivalent to the principles of sustainability. Before moving on and analyzing the core sustainability certifications, it is interesting to understand the relevance spread of organic in the overall global picture. According to the ITC standard map data, organic is leading among the sustainability certifications related to agricultural production. However, it still only represents only 1.5% of agricultural land worldwide. The other certifications represent each a global share of not more than 1%. Australia is the country with the largest certified area for organic. Italy and Spain are the countries with the highest percentage of organic certified area. Organic is almost not present in the African continent. The organic farming market is expected to grow 11% in each of the next 4 years. This would mean that by the end of the country, it would still be below 5% of the total harvested area. So while the growth is significant and in line with the expected growth of other certifications, it must be stressed that it still represents a very small percentage of the overall agricultural area in the world. I'm providing here with some relevant data from the ITC standard map, confirming the trend and showing its spread on the world map. It is also interesting to observe the compared relevance of forestry standards in terms of area certified. It is more than 6 times the area certified by organic. PAFC is currently market leader. Organic itself is 70% of the total area certified in agriculture. And part of the certified forestry area is also dedicated to food production. The two major forestry standards are the PEFC, recently become the major one, and the Forest Stewardship Council. The certifications occurred mostly in North America and Europe, and much less in Africa, while in Canada, over 40%, 11% in the USA of the forest area has been certified, the value is much smaller elsewhere. Crop-specific standards should by definition be type 1 like, same as type 1, but for single attributes or single sectors, according to ISO. According to the ITC, the UTZ program, cocoa, hazelnut, and coffee was the main of the crops specific standards with over 1 million producers. However, the label has been recently bought by the Rainforest Alliance and it is gradually being phased out. The RSPO palm oil certification has therefore now become the major type 1 like food certification, having certified an estimated 10% of the global area dedicated to oil palm. Also, Bonsucro covers almost 10% of the global area of sugar production, followed by good performance by Proterra and RTR soy certification. When looking at the Type 1 certification, assessing multi-attributes and open to multi-sectors in agriculture, we see that Rainforest Alliance and Global Gap are by far the major players. But there are two major differences between the two. Global Gap is mainly a B2B certification, while Rainforest is B2C. Another important difference to highlight is that Rainforest is focused on tropical crops for the nature of its claim, while Global Gap has certified a much bigger range of agro products. I will talk a bit more in detail later about Friend of the Earth. However, I anticipate it is a certification launched 3 years ago by the organization I represent, the World Sustainability Organization. It has developed standards in various sectors, including agriculture and farming, textiles, fashion, furniture, mining, tourism, sport, packaging, and much more. The audits are carried out by independent certification bodies, and the scheme is about to be recognized by the national accreditation bodies. Agro-food certified companies are located in 4 continents and 14 countries. Certified agro products range from meat to cheese and dairy products, nutraceutical, fruits, vegetables, wine, oil, and tobacco. Current certified hectares area is still small, but it has great potential for growth. It is entering massively into the tobacco curing and growing arena, auditing major players. Rainforest Alliance, Global Gap, LEAF, and Friend of the Earth all include social accountability standards and use independent certification bodies. This means they are all qualified to be considered sustainability certifications. When we look at the certified share of global area certified, we notice that on average, something around 9.3% of the total area is certified, with cocoa on top, followed by coffee and tea. But let's look closer to those major players left in our assessment, of which eco-labels can actually be deemed as reliable sustainability certifications for agriculture. According to the official definition, which implies certifications to be carried out by a certification body independent from the audited companies and include social and economic accountability in the standards, a useful tool to further shorten the list is to refer to the actual definition of certification. According to ISO, a certification is the provision by an independent body of written assurance, a certificate that the product, service, or system in question meets specific requirements. It is important, therefore, that the certification be provided by an independent body. And the tool to assess reliability and continuous verification of the standard's performance and the work carried out by the certification standards and standards owners is the national accreditation, a process by means of which a certification standard is assessed by the national accreditation bodies to be fit for accreditation of certification bodies against its standard. The whole process is then harmonized and coordinated by the International Accreditation Forum, IAF, and in Europe by the European Cooperation for Accreditation. To date, very few standards have the honor to be recognized by the national accreditation bodies. Among them, ISO, the EU Organic Label, BRC, IFS, Global Gap, LEAF, Friend of the Sea, and Friend of the Earth is undergoing technical assessment. Other standards did not even try and build a parallel organization to carry out these tasks, such as ICO and ASI, which seem to be in contrast with the EU regulation requesting only one national accreditation body per country. If we thus want to find out which of our sustainability certifications have a higher degree of scrutiny and reliability, being constantly verified by the national accreditation bodies, and are international in scope, including social accountability, then we are left with this very short list. Let's talk now a bit more in detail about our certification, Friend of the Earth. So, Friend of the Earth was launched initially as a certification of products from sustainable agriculture and farming. In terms of the requirements, these are very similar as far as the agricultural management system is concerned to those of integrated pest management. This production method has been proved by recent studies to be more efficient in terms of reducing the overall agricultural impact on the environment. Even more performing, generally speaking, and then one should look crop by crop because there are differences, than the organic certification, which, as we know, necessitates of a wider area of land to produce the same amount of product in terms of weight. Normally 1.5 more than the conventional production, while integrated pest management is more efficient in this sense and necessitates less land and also less water, energy, and raw material. To this requirement related to a group of requirements related to the agricultural management system, other requirements are added. For example, those verifying the impact of the development of the agriculture site on pre-existing natural habitat, if any. And of course, the requirements verify that there is no impact on critical habitat and that there is a census and protection of any endangered species of flora or fauna which might occur on the agricultural site, that there is an environmental management system in place, thus optimizing the use of waste, water, and energy. And also, there are additional requirements in case of animal farming related to animal welfare, and of course, social accountability and the verification of the integrity of the chain of custody. In case the product has already obtained other certifications, such as Global Gap, Rainforest, or so on, we have already carried out a comparative analysis which estimates which requirements or group of requirements overlap with the Friend of the Earth ones, so that the audit is then focused only on those areas which are not yet covered by the other certification. In this way, we avoid double auditing, and the audit can be swifter and less expensive for the companies. As mentioned, Friend of the Earth is undergoing assessment to become an accredited certification program, and it's already through WSO, the World Sustainability Organization, a member associate of IAF, and it's already carrying out the audits by means of third-party international certification bodies. In recent years, we have introduced innovative methods and new technologies to make the audit more efficient and comprehensive. And so it is possible to carry out the audit remotely, video recording the whole audit and placing it on blockchain. And we also developed as a beta test new interactive avatars which can carry out the audit in a completely independent way and efficient way using AI. So these are some of the producers which have obtained the Friend of the Earth certification for some of their products. Among them, there are smaller companies and from different countries, such as Café Monteverde from Costa Rica, Quinoa from Ecuador, but also bigger ones such as La Doria, one of the biggest producers of tomato sauce worldwide, Philip Morris, for which we audit the tobacco curing process, as well as major producers of nutraceutical products such as KSM 66 ashwagandha and New Seed. So you can understand that the certification is a multi-product certification, different from some of those that we have seen, which were crop specific, and it's international in scope. So here are some of the certified products. We will very shortly look through a number of them. For example, this chocolate made of certified friend of the earth cocoa from Cambodia, and sold and commercialized, traded in the whole of Europe. The Verde, very high quality and renowned coffee from Costa Rica. Fossa Mala, a wine from Veneto region in Italy. Terra dei Re, another very high quality wine from southern Italy. Various products, various vegetable products from Greece, as well as tomato sauce from La Doria, and also fruit, pomegranate from producers in the south of Italy, as well as other tomato sauces which have been certified. And the first hydroponic producer of tomato in Italy, Porto, as well as eggs of one of the premium eggs producers in Italy called Tedaldi. Rice from top producers in Italy, Cascina Schiena, and also rice from Sri Lanka, as well as quinoa from Ecuador, and the famous Parmesan cheese, as well as some major dairy products from Sri Lanka, from Italy, meat products from Widi, and also apricots, and other fruits, dry nuts, and oil, honey, as well as a major producer of ashwagandha, I believe worldwide, or top quality. And as I said, a part of New Seed, Nutriterra product, which is made of canola seed. It is certified according to the Friend of the Earth requirements, and marketed as a plant-based friend of the sea. We developed also other standards for insect farming, for example, production from insect farming. And the companies which obtain the Friend of the Earth certification can also leverage on other logos that have been developed by WSO, which highlight their compliance with subsets of requirements, and which could be, in terms of marketing, interesting for the company, for the product, because, for example, they focus on irrigation, which was a theme of the last webinar I held, as well as social accountability and animal welfare, and so on. So over the years, we have expanded the scope of the Friend of the Earth certification to award with the Friend of the Earth logo other products and services which respect the land environment. And so, for example, one of these certification is focused on certification of textiles and fashion. Some of the textile fibers come from agriculture, about 36% of them, but the certification is open also to synthetic fibers as well, as long as they are completely recycled or regenerated. And of course, there are other requirements for the certification. The project has grown nicely in recent years. And currently, there's over 50%, but we're confident to reach there are over 50 companies and brands, but we're confident to reach over 100 brands by the end of this year from 4 continents. There's standards also related to sustainable furniture and interior design that are being considered by several companies. There are several resorts and hotels which have obtained the certification for sustainable hospitality, and also some products from coral mines, for example, that have obtained sustainable mining certification. Several events which have obtained the sustainable events certification under the Friend of the Earth umbrella, and sustainable sports certification. I won't go into the detail of each groups of standard requirements because generally speaking, the impacts that are looked at are impact on land, impact on use of water, energy, and in terms of emission and waste management, social accountability, and awareness, and so on. So this is for transparency, the price list, the generic price list for Friend of the Earth agricultural products. And as you can see, in line with the FAO recommendations, it is based on the range of company yearly revenue and the number of products. In general, Friend of the Earth companies have various benefits. Of course, the main focus is the third-party certification, but the companies can also connect to our foundation's work in supporting conservation, because indirectly they are supporting the foundation by means of the yearly royalty contribution. And also, as explained, they can leverage on the other provided logos as well, or eco-labels, as well as a number of marketing and communications activities that we organize to highlight the certified products, and also to provide network and facilitate meetings with potential customers. We also have a sustainable restaurant app, which highlights restaurants nearby that consumers might want to search for, which have on their menu Friend of the Earth or Friend of the Sea certified products. On top of that, we have organized a number of activities to promote Friend of the Earth certified products, such as this fidelity card, which allows to consumers to collect points as they purchase Friend of the Sea or Friend of the Earth certified products, and then win prizes, sustainable prizes, of course. We also, as I mentioned, open our first concept store. We're planning to open a next one by the end of the next year in London, which is called Sustainable Friends, where we raise awareness on environmental impact issues, organize interviews, and also events, and also highlight the certified products. In terms of the foundation, these are the countries worldwide, over 40 countries, where we are supporting conservation projects. And these are focused on aquatic species as well as land species, as the one that I'm showing here, our beautiful butterfly census, which allows anybody to take a picture of a butterfly and send it to us, and we will classify it, put it on our butterflies map, and also collect valuable scientific data as a consequence to update our annual report. This is our pangolin project. Pangolins are the most traded endangered species worldwide, unfortunately, and this illegal trade is impacting the animal, the species, the 4 or 5 species of pangolins, and which are now almost all at the risk of extinction. We have also projects which support the protection of habitats, such as the Mata Atlântica in Brazil, and we have also humanitarian projects. Summing up, WSO is the only organization which can provide 2 consumer-friendly labels, Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth, finally not acronyms, as most certifications out there, which can cover and provide sustainability certification to the whole range of food products as well as non-food products and services, with a solid 30 years experience, completely independent from the companies and the industry that we certified and verified by the national accreditation bodies. Multi-product with the price list that is strict and affordable, always including social accountability, and protecting indirectly endangered species by means of our foundation conservation projects. So with this, I have finished my presentation of today. I hope you found it interesting, and now I open it up to our question and answer time. I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, and I will open up the polls. Today's poll is we have 2 polls. Some organic certifications, and this is the first poll. Some organic certifications do not authorize audit of hydroponics because this agricultural method does not allow the roots of the plants to stay in the soil. So because of this, some organic certifications, in particular the EU ones, to our record, do not allow the audit of hydroponics. However, this is a very efficient way of producing agricultural products because normally there's no presence of pests and there's optimization of use of water and land. And so the question is, should hydroponics be certifiable as sustainable agriculture or not? Yes, if hydroponics should be certifiable as sustainable agriculture. No, if you believe that they should not be allowed to be certified and therefore highlighted to the consumers as sustainable or lower impact, let's say. The second poll is about this. Should certifications which are not verified by national accreditation bodies be prohibited by law as they are not verified by a third party? What I mean here is if only those certifications which are verified by the national accreditation bodies like UCAS or Accredia in Italy or ANAB in the US or whatever country you are, you have your own national accreditation bodies. So shouldn't there be a law like there is one for organic that the certification must be verified by the national accreditation bodies in order to be placed on a packaging as a claim? Or should all certifications be allowed to be there? I'm saying that because we need to avoid misleading consumers or reduce the risk of misleading consumers. So for the same reason that organic certification is a claim is not allowed unless at least in the EU, unless the certification body is verified by the national accreditation bodies. Why shouldn't the same law exist for claims of sustainability? Currently, it doesn't exist. So anybody can make its own claim. And of course, there is now more verification. There is a law to prevent greenwashing, which has been introduced, but is not as strict as we would like. And then the last poll is more like an opportunity for you to rate this webinar, and also invite you, if you find it useful enough, please send us feedback so that we can improve over time and understand what, if anything, went wrong and how we can improve that. Okay. So this said, let me check if there's any question. Okay. Somebody is asking how do they get fashion certification. So there is a way to apply to obtain more information. If you are interested, you can contact us at info@friendoftheearth.org or Paolo Bray at friendoftheearth.org. We will provide you with the direct link to the requirements. However, we have a dedicated page for fashion inside our website where you can find the requirements for certification. It would be a bit too long now to describe them all to you, but basically, if the fiber is from agricultural production, then the fiber must be either a Friend of the Earth certified, or it has to be to undergo Friend of the Earth agricultural audit, sustainable agriculture audit, or otherwise it could be that it's already obtained other certifications such as cotton or global recycling standard or GOTS or Ecotex. And then there is partial or complete equivalence with some of these certifications and the Friend of the Earth certification, and that would definitely facilitate. If the fiber is synthetic, then there are other requirements related to a very high level of being recycled or regenerated or upcycled, and also requirements are there as far as the processing activity is concerned, so no use of toxic materials and dyes, and the social accountability part. And as far as that is concerned, as for all the certifications, there's an application form, which we call preliminary information form, that you find on our websites under the companies and apply area, where you can find also our price list. And for those brands which are interested in the Friend of the Earth certification for fashion, we also have a package, an additional package for those interested, which provides to the certified products and brands a way to highlight their certification, highlight their engagement for environmental and social accountability, including and up to the invitation to showcase your products in the fashion show that we organized during the Milan Fashion Week, and now also in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, at the end of this year, during the Friend of the Earth Brazil Eco Fashion Week. Another question is...
Help our planet with this first step. Follow Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth across our social media. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your follow and subscription helps us spread the sustainability message to everyone. Let's build a better world together as sustainable friends.
Have already undertaken measures to greatly reduce their environmental impact and be compliant with social accountability, and feel that they are sustainable, but do not believe so much in the extreme positions of organic, and would like to communicate in a different way also your engagement. I think that could be one of the answers, but there are many answers. There are many reasons why a company could want a Friend of the Earth certification. Maybe you already have a crop-specific certification, but you want to be part of a bigger club and a wider and more consumer-friendly certification, and that's Friend of the Earth, a more comprehensive one. Perhaps also when we talk about fashion, it's more comprehensive than Oekotex, it's more comprehensive than GOTS. Oekotex is more focused on the processing part and not on the harvesting or agriculture or production part. And so you might have garments or products that are in part organic, that are in part certified Oekotex or recycled or upcycled. And you want a certification which can communicate in a uniform way your engagement. And that's Friend of the Earth, which will not mean that you will have to throw away the other certification, because, as I said, we respect those certification, and we will not double audit those requirements which are overlapping with the Friend of the Earth certification requirements. I think there's another question. Do you support organizations' new initiatives running a similar cause? Yes, definitely. If you're talking about certifications, as I just said, we definitely support other certifications which we can consider as partially or fully equivalent. And if you think about organizations in conservation, definitely we carry out through our foundation technical department an assessment of the conservation project to verify that it fulfills our requirements, that is effective, that it generates tangible conservation results, and then you can become part of the conservation project that we support and propose also to companies for additional funding. And in general, we are very open to collaborations with any organizations which has similar initiatives. I think with this, we have covered and answered all the questions. So I will just share with you the results of the polls. So everybody, or at least those that voted, 100% confirmed that hydroponic should be allowed to be considered as sustainable or even organic, potentially. It doesn't really matter where the roots are of the plants, whether in the soil or in the water, but it's an alternative production method for agriculture. And I share this view, so I'm sharing this with you. And then the reply is not so categoric for instead the second question. Maybe I didn't formulate it also so well, but it's true that you might think that all labels should be authorized to be displayed. Maybe sometimes it's better a label than nothing. And however, the majority thinks that the label should have a national accreditation body verifying its credibility. So I'm showing the results to everybody. I will not show you the results of the rating, but it was pretty good. Let's say 4.7. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you appreciate it, and spread the word and contact us if you want to collaborate. And hopefully participate to the next webinar. And if you would like us to organize webinars on specific subject, please feel free to write to us. We want to meet your expectations. So again, thank you so much. We are closing up the hour, and it has been, I think, and I hope, an interesting webinar for all of you, and we look forward to receive your feedback. Write to us if you're interested in the certification. Have a great, wonderful day and week. Thank you.
Help our planet with this first step. Follow Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth across our social media. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your follow and subscription helps us spread the sustainability message to everyone. Let's build a better world together as sustainable friends.